So, of course, the reason why it's hard to remember is because it starts with remember. But Colt is also a musician. So the songs, I remember that, writing about that. The songs that he plays and stuff also help with the investigation. They get wrapped up in like the spiritual way on these murders. And it's all because Ketch goes over where the spilt blood was and begins speaking in tongues, and it starts seeping in her. Then he can feed off that, because in marriage you become one flesh, right? So they can feed off one another and start to solve the mystery. He'll start writing this music about the murder. Then eventually down the line, when it matures more, right? When the show matures more, they start time traveling. They just kind of vanish, like on where their bed is. There might be something that he lays across them that's connected to like a computer, and it has like a wire that's connected to a computer, and it's like a scrim that goes over the bed, and then they just kind of vanish, and then they reappear under that scrim in another time, and they have to keep that scrim with them so they can time travel back to their original place. And I think the first one that they investigate, I think they want to try one that's not a murder. They can still investigate stuff that's not murder, but they go and they investigate the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan. So Hinckley would be in it and stuff. They just want to interview him and talk to him and like see what was going on. Now they can prevent it, but he has a thing, I believe it's Colt believes that if he prevents any of it, it can affect modern time, like a paradox. They only want to investigate, so they don't want to be known as time travelers. They only want to investigate it and not disturb the sequence of things, whether it happens, like if they stop the JFK assassination, or if they say leave Harvey Oswald, if that ever happens later. But they go to that extreme, and then he'll spray the luminol, she'll begin speaking in tongues. They go all the way back to some of the martyrs of St. Paul or of Saul, because the guy that wrote the New Testament was a murderer. He was the chief of sinners. They go back to the time where he held the coat of Stephen and investigate that and stuff. Now here's an interesting aspect of the entire series, this supernatural crime thriller, or whatever you want to call it. Genre is hard. They do investigate the crucifixion. Now remember, I said that the luminol will change different colors for gender as well as for nation. So when they spray the cross, it's like a color that changes. The color changes because Christ died for all nations. So his blood is not of one nation. It's like mixed with all the nations. Which I know, we talked, they had Messianic, and there's a Jewish Messiah and everything. So that would be acknowledged, but the blood changes. And it's the first time he notices it. It's like, it's not one color. It begins to change into like all the different colors and everything. It's a very interesting aspect. There's Montgomery Plaza. So anyway, I mean, Glorious Glo Hands is kind of like the series, but here's the thing. I only got like 6 episodes. I do have dialogue though. I do have dialogue on all 6, maybe 7. There might be 7 episodes. There might be more. I'd have to look, but there is dialogue. And we try to do as many of the episodes as we could until it was like, let's wait for development at this point. This show, we can only show so much. We were going to do another show like Glorious Glo Hands, a little bit, about 2 diamond thieves that find these diamonds at a washateria. It's real weird kind of stuff based on this chick's photo that we saw on a washateria that was like wanted for scamming, the washateria that we went to. And it was going to be like these diamonds that they had and they were keeping and all this stuff, and it had a treasure hunt, and then it was going to lead to like an otherworldly kind of thing because of these diamonds and because of these thieves that were going to like go into this other world and all this stuff. I was going to use more Lynchian, surreal kind of, things. But, if you look at Glorious Glo Hands, I mean, it's really out there. Of course, if the Hollywood's if the studios got of it, they probably want to maybe even leave a little bit of surreality in there. It's in a little bit of the stuff, Twin Peaks did pretty well. Twin Peaks Return probably did a little bit better. But I don't know. It wasn't like Twin Peaks was Cheers, or Seinfeld or anything, It wasn't that. It was television. Twin Peaks was television. but it was fun. It's fun to like read the books about it and to watch it and like, what is this thing, you know, and all this, you know, all this stuff it's fun to break down and like get away from the Cheers and the Seinfelds and, you know, the South Park, whatever, you know, which, I don't know, Taco Bell commercials kind of thing. For me it was fun to, I don't know, he'll never have a third one though. He'll never have a third Twin Peaks. There's Fire Walk with Me. I finally figured it out. It's a door code, not a gate code. That makes like a big difference how you phrase things. I figured they meant door code rather than gate code. Like, what? You mean door code? This is interesting too about the gate code or the door code. Does that look like a door code? Yeah. And I even verified A with her. So the lady's rude and she's like, you know, just because I'm trying to get the building straight with her, and she's sitting there like insulting me and all this stuff. Like, because I'm trying to ask her about this particular building. There's like several of them all through here. And she's like, are you blah, blah? I said, well, no, my church wouldn't like that. Neither would my children. All right. This is probably what, it's in Grotto. In the future, they'll probably say ghetto. I don't know, this will take time for this place. Look at this place. The ceiling fans. Like hard living, let me tell you. All right, finally. There's only 2 buildings, but it looks like one on one side of it right here. Okay, this is one side of it, which, yeah, I remember this building. This building has trouble. It looks like one building. This is between the 2 buildings. Because sometimes they wrap around. But I'm like, are you by, it'll like trap you in. Are you by the leasing center? No, I'm not by the leasing center, blah, blah, blah. I gotta hurry up. If I can get through this gate. Because look, there's no exit right here at all. Don't run when you have to. Yeah, got through. So this would probably be the gate code. Got it. That's the gate code. That's how you get in. So she was meaning gate code. Because there's doors on the outside. I see. Got it. Finally figured it out. This is cool murals right here. There is a gate code. It's just not on Crawford. The most of the conversation that was had on that one was, are you on Crawford or not? Yes, I'm on Crawford. No. That's actually confusing. She's actually not on Crawford. Crawford is only by foot. This is Calhoun here. The answer is no. I'm on Broadway. As in East Broadway. Which makes a big difference on what the gate code. There's no gate code because you're going that way. This one's a toughie. Not the toughest one though. But this is Crawford. That one was Broadway. If you want to know the truth. This is actually Crawford. That's a Dolly Parton mural. So when they ask like something insulting, like, are you on crack? You answer, or I did, with my church doesn't like that, neither do my kids. If they ask that kind of insulting question, the Romans, who try to keep Rome alive in a very kind of horrible way, a desperate way. It always comes out really desperate. Look at that little light staircase thing. Are you on crack? Nope. My church doesn't like it, neither do my kids. That's how you answer it. If you really want to make them mad, you say, my church doesn't like it, neither do 6 of my kids. That's how many kids I have. 3 are in heaven, 3 are here. I know 3 different women that if they acted and behaved the way that they did now, they'd be sitting in prison. They wouldn't be having their Doritos or their fancy noodles. They'd be sitting in prison. 3 of them. I'm not going to give any names because I'm not that cruel. Then I know one of them that should be running a psychology office, because she could probably do that. She doesn't pass out in the middle of the therapy session or write a book. I'm ashamed of her for not writing the book. Supposedly it's going to be called Never a Dull Moment, but she can find a better title than that. Behind the Tears, she needs a better title than that. She's just naming her name or something of that sort. A book about my life is a good title. This book is about my life. That would be a good title right there. This book is about my life. When someone's delivering something to you, that's their life. They're calling because they are concerned about the fact that this is my life. So I need better directions, because for one thing, you only need a key. You have to have a key fob to get through the doors. There is a gate that you drive through. She said there wasn't one, but there is a gate you drive through, but it's on East Broadway. The Crawford, which I mentioned several times, does not have a gate code that you put in. It has a thing called linear, which is a security linear. And I guess Daddy didn't tell her all about that when he purchased her life. Fleming Chapel is the name, off of Broadway. It's probably an antique piece. It's Broadway Baptist, actually. Fleming Chapel is the name. It's Broadway Baptist Church. That's the one that looks like a cathedral. I don't know. I don't want to get all like harsh on people that are well off and then they insult somebody for not bringing their take-home food to their, to their feet and bow. I can tell you this, Rome, it did burn. It burned, seriously. And Nero did play the violin. Their ruler did not even care. And everything fell within. All of the pleasures of Rome, all their attempts in philosophy, all of it was burned. It was burned seriously to the ground, really badly. Traces of it try to enter into people. Names. I think Lynch calls one of the demons a Jody. It's also Jade or something. I don't know if he made that up or if it's historical. If it's something that he made up. But these little demons get around. And, we're supposed to take our shirt off for our brother. Like even our own coat. In times of winter or something. Where things are very cold. And you take your coat off and give it to someone that really needs it. You rarely ever see that, especially in the city. New York, there'll be someone freezing and there'll be thousands of people that'll just walk right by. And then finally someone will stop and say, here's my coat. I can make it home, okay? You need this coat for the night. And it may cost them. And they can't give it like, so there are only so many coats. But how many times have you given your actual coat to somebody? Now, I've left my coat in places. I've left jackets and stuff. I'm like, where did it go? And go back and it's gone. No lost and found nowhere. I always try to retain that jacket because I have, what's it called? It's like memorabilia problem. I get attached to things like when I was younger, like a jacket. I'm like, where is that jacket? And start having like a panic attack over a jacket. Because you can feel naked without it, you know? Like Jane says she feels naked without her wig. She can't find it. There's actually people that pull their dinner from their pocket, and then there's other people that have it laid at their feet in their overpriced townhome. But yet, you know, what can you do? You know, you have to still at least give it to them. But the only reason I was asking for directions is because, to me, if I'm in my head, if I'm thinking it's one building, what difference does it make where you enter? But if it's two different buildings, you would have to enter into the other building. And they don't have on some buildings like building A or building B, but they have stair A and stair D, which is the same kind of thing. But that offended her if I asked that about stair A or stair D. I wasn't asking about a nearby is there a possible abortion clinic anywhere nearby? I wasn't asking questions like that because there's not one. There's not an abortion clinic around here. Sorry. You have to go elsewhere for that. I wasn't asking about that. That would have been different. What I was asking about was, where exactly are you and how do I know which building you are in? And is there more than two buildings? And there is a gap in your building where your building looks like the same building, you know? But at least you got it, and it was relatively somewhat hot.